Hello everyone and welcome in this video. I am going today to show you how you can create a scene with colliders and a rigid body, and I'm going to explain to you how they work and what nodes you are going to need. I'm going to say Godot in weird ways because I have no idea how to pronounce it correctly. So let's start. In the scene we have a couple of nodes. These are the original names. I haven't renamed any of them, and I'm going to explain to you what those nodes are. First of all, we have a root node. This is the main node of the scene, and this is useful if you need to instantiate the scene in other scenes, which is a particular thing in Godot, or for other purposes. This is a camera because we need to see something, and of course I changed the position of the camera from the original point to here. Then we have an important thing. We have a child of the root node, which is a rigid body. This rigid body is what allows for physics calculations on the scene. So this is a parent node of this child, which are needed in order to work, and it's going to use physics for movement or for other purposes. Here on the right you can see a couple of parameters. I haven't changed any of them, and they should work, and you want to change them if you want some other things. For example, if you want to change the weight or the mass in order to fall or to go up, or change the gravity in general, this is what you need. A rigid body, in order to work, need a collision shape as a children usually. So we added a collision shape node as a child. A collision shape is a node, but game engine doesn't know which type of shape it has, so we have to add a shape. In this case I added a box. It's a normal thing. You can click here and choose a shape. I chose this one because it's easier. Sometimes you want different type of shapes, and here you have a pretty nice choice. I think you can also concatenate some shapes and do very weird stuff, but for a simple scene this is what works, and in a lot of cases you want just a box for your scene. But we also need another node because we want to see what is happening. So I added a mesh instance. This is just something that allows the scene to show this particular node, to understand where the position is, because if we don't have the mesh instance we wouldn't see anything. But in order to play a game we need to see the player or the enemies or something, so we want to know where this is. I also added a material to the mesh so we can see it in a nice color, in this case red, and this works with physics. That's it. This is also able to collide since we added a collision shape, but it needs to collide with something. In this case I added a special node. I don't think this was strictly needed, but I just added it. And I added it because when you stretch a parent and you change, for example, the scale, like in this case, you also are changing the scale of the child nodes. For example, this mesh has just a scale of 1. But this is the local scale based on the parent node. So if the scale is this, the child is going to have the same. This is a general thing for parents and children. In this case I added another children of the special node, which is a static body. Here we can have a shape, which is here. Static body is something that has to do with collisions and with physics, but it doesn't usually need to move. It's just something static, like in this case the floor, a plane. But this also needs a shape, because we want to know what type of collision we want, where, how big it is. So we added a collision shape, and in this case I added a shape box. So some of you might wonder, hey, but here you also have a plane. You're doing stuff with a plane, which in reality is just a box stretch, but why haven't you used a plane? The reason is simple, and I think you can find it also in the documentation, and it's that the plane shape, it's not suggested. It's something you shouldn't be using because it doesn't work properly, and I heard that it's also going to be removed in future versions of Godot. And in general, we can achieve the same result by having a box and just stretching it. In this case, it's the same scale as this, so it fits perfectly. So if you have everything that I described you or something similar, I hope that you understood how all these nodes work and what they are needed for, so that you can create the scene that you need and not just recreate step by step this scene. In this case, the rigid body is affected by physics, while this other special node, it's just the plane here, which is able to collide, and it's not going to move. So the rigid body is going to be affected by physics, by physics or by gravity, is going to fall, and it's going to collide with the plane. Let's see if it works. Thank you for being here. I hope you liked this video. Leave a comment below, subscribe, and see you next time. Bye bye.